Mackenzie Johnston with Cattle News Central, bringing you your January 6th cattle industry headlines, brought to you by AgRisk Advisors. They provide risk management programs to livestock producers all throughout the West. Whether you are concerned about price or weather risk, AgRisk Advisors, they are here to help. With current day market fluctuations, you and I both know there is nothing more important than locking in a price floor on your cattle. So if you'd like to learn more about an LRP, go ahead and reach out to an advisor today. Also sponsored by the American Beef Producer Magazine. ABP Magazine offers in-depth articles that cover a wide array of topics within our industry. They also feature award-winning photography in their publication and so much more. If for some reason you are not already subscribed to ABP Magazine, go ahead and head over to their website, abpmag.com. When you get to their main page, there will be a big subscribe button over here in the right corner. They'll get you all fixed up, and you can start receiving that magazine. American Beef Producer Magazine, guiding beef producers for over 25 years. According to Reuters, earlier this week, Argentina made another unconventional move to hopefully tame beef prices for local consumers by placing a ban on seven beef cuts until the end of 2023. The government also prohibited exporters from shipping full cattle carcasses and half carcasses, among other categories, for the next 2 years. As you can remember, back in May, Argentina's president, Alberto Fernandez, temporarily banned all meat exports, which started a tense relationship with the private sector, as you can imagine. Since May, those restrictions have somewhat eased, but it seems as if Argentina's government are now back to their destructive tactics. It's important to note that this strategy to ban beef exports, and also they put some price controls in place. All of these actions, they have not eased the prices for Argentinian consumers when it comes to beef. Beef prices are up 48% annually in the greater Buenos Aires area. And just in November, prices on some cuts rose by double digits on a monthly basis, according to government data. So as we talked about yesterday, earlier this week, the Biden administration came out with an action plan to invest $1 billion to expand competition in the U.S. meatpacking industry and also strengthen enforcement of antitrust regulations. Somehow, while I was combing through all the news, I missed NCBA's reaction to this announcement. So according to Drovers, the nation's largest cattle organization, reported on Tuesday that they are pleased with the additional $500 million in funding that will be used to expand small independent meat processing facilities. According to Ethan Lane, NCBA Vice President of Government Affairs, this move by the administration will strengthen the business climate for American cattle producers and help alleviate the choke point in the beef supply chain. With that being said, NCBA is concerned by the administration's unclear position on the Packers and Stockyards Act. In closing, Lane said that NCBA is committed to ensuring that cattle producers have the ability to realize higher profits for their cattle and make the marketing decisions that are best for their business. Fox News has reported that on Tuesday, RCALF CEO Bill Bullard was featured on Fox News discussing Biden's action plan that we've been talking about all week. So when you look at this action plan from an aerial view, if you look at how that $1 billion is going to be divvied up, $100 million of that will go towards reducing the cost of inspections. Another $100 million will address the supply chain crisis, and $800 million will go towards grants and loans for smaller facilities. Bullard was asked if Biden's plan is the best use of $1 billion. He responded by saying no. The best use of that money would be to restore competition to the marketplace. We've lost all competition because U.S. regulators have not enforced the antitrust laws that are on the books, and as a result, the big four meat packers now control 85% of the marketplace. He went on to elaborate how that control has allowed packers to exercise power through globalization, and now we have unreal amounts of foreign beef making its way on to shelves for American consumers to purchase. All the while, those American consumers cannot differentiate from that foreign beef and domestic beef. With MCOOL, consumers are not able, without MCOOL, consumers are not able to initiate demand signals in the marketplace, and the result has been a lack of competition in the entire live cattle industry, said Bullard. Additionally, The packers have diminished competition through a lack of participation in the cash cattle market, and instead, for the most part, they only price cattle through forward cattle contracts. Bullard was then asked what the government needs to do for American farmers and ranchers. He responded saying that the government needs to enforce the laws that are already on the books, such as the Sherman Act, the Packers and Stockyards Act, the Commodity Exchange Act, and also the Clayton Act. These acts were put in place to ensure a robust environment in the cattle industry, but they have been ignored for decades, and along with that, the competition within our industry has been completely purged. Bullard believes there is a complete disconnect between what consumers are paying for beef and what cattle producers are receiving for their cattle. Beef prices have skyrocketed to super inflated prices. At the same time, America's cattle producers are receiving severely depressed prices. And all the while, the packers are enjoying hefty profits, and they are fighting to make sure nothing changes within our marketplace. At the end of the day, Bullard believes the fix is simple. Our government needs to step up and enforce the laws that are already on the books. Meeting Place has reported that last week in federal court, numerous major U.S. retailers filed a federal suit alleging pork processors of conspiring to fix pork prices all the way back from 2009 onward. The retailers include Albertsons, Hy-Vee, Kroger, Save Mart Supermarkets, and U.S. Foods Incorporated. These supermarket chains are accusing pork processors and their affiliates of working with Indiana Packers Corporation to fix, raise, maintain, and stabilize the price of pork in U.S. markets in violation of the Sherman Act. Those being accused of such actions include Clemens Food Group, Hormel Foods, of course, JBS, Seaboard Foods, Smithfield Foods, Triumph Foods, and we couldn't have a party without Tyson Foods. The defendants allegedly controlled the production and supply of pork in a coordinated effort to minimize production and boost prices by lowering the number of hog farms in operation by 70%, according to the suit, which was filed in the Northern District of California on December 28th. When it comes to being accused of market corruption, this is not the defendant's first rodeo. Almost all of the defendants are already facing similar accusations in lawsuits filed late last year by restaurant chains Buffalo Wild Wings, Sonic, and Jimmy John's down in Florida. Also, when we think back over the last year, JBS agreed to pay $20 million to indirect pork buyers to settle similar litigation, and Smithfield reached an $83 million settlement with direct pork purchasers 6 months ago over a similar situation. So again, this lawsuit is just another day at the office for pork processors. The sad thing is, the money that they made through their illegal, corrupt actions will be far greater than any fine that they will ever have to pay. Essentially, what will happen in this situation, as you and I both know, we've talked about it many times, they made a buck through illegal actions, and they'll maybe pay a dime for those actions, for those illegal actions. And we see this going on here in the in the pork industry, and we'll continue to see it not just in this industry, but also our other protein industries, and also the poultry and the beef industry. Finally, Drovers has reported that during the final week of 2021, estimated fed cattle margins totaled $189 a head, according to the Sterling Beef Profit Tracker. This was a gain of $48 per head from the week before. Packer margins for that week were estimated at $329 a head, a decline of $11 from the week before, and down $183 from the first week of December. Cash cattle prices during the last week of December averaged $139.97 per hundredweight. That was $4.05 higher than the previous week and $28.49 higher than the final week of December back in 2020. The Packer feeder cash margin spread for the last week of December was $140.06 per head, of course, in the Packers' favor. The spread was $101 lower than the same week a month prior, so the last week in November. When we look back to a year ago, cattle feeders were experiencing cash profits of $43 a head on closeouts during that same last week in December, so things are a bit better than they were a year ago. At the same time, that same week, back in 2020, Packers were making $229 a head. that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys are staying warm. It was absolutely frigid here in central Nebraska yesterday, and it's going to be another cold one here on Thursday. But you guys bundle up. Have a tremendous Thursday. I'll catch you later.